Hey guys, this is Control, and this is my final part of my Karazhan card review. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about a lot more cards than in the first two, as you know, in the final release, they did release 24 cards at once. So there are a few more before that I haven't gone over as well, but we're going to talk about all the new ones here. If I skip over any cards that you have no clue what they're about, feel free to check out video number 1 and 2. They'll be in the description of this video. So to begin, we have Arcane Giant. So costs 1 less for each spell you've casted this game. I actually think this should be a playable card. Is it going to be great? Maybe, it's tough to say. I see it could fit in decks like Yogg Druid and Yogg Mage. Really any Yogg deck it would be alright in. The only thing is, in a deck like Tempo Mage, do you really want to have a 12 mana card clunking up your starting hand? And that's really the issue that I see with this one. But I do think that it could be playable. Will it be phenomenal and game breaking? Most likely not. But I think it will be good, and we may see it in some top tier decks. Next is Medivh the Guardian. So this is a groundbreaking card, guys. So it's a neutral minion that gives you a weapon, and this weapon isn't just a weapon, it's a staff. And something else that's interesting about Medivh is that he's the first Hearthstone character to be made into a card. And by character I mean like a playable character like Medivh the skin from Mage. And yeah, I believe the staff is a 1/3. I'm not too sure if it'll be listed here. If not, I will have a link to the staff in the description of this video. But I think Medivh is an interesting card. And will he be played? Probably. Will he be the most competitive card? Probably not, but he will be played, I'm sure. See clips with him when trolled in, I'm sure. Gone over Firelands Portal and the Curator so far. Moonglow Portal, this one's new. So 6 mana, restore health, 6 health, and summon a random 6 cost minion. I think this will be played in Cthulhu Druid. If there's going to be a deck that's going to fit it in, it's going to be one like that. You're going to need room to be able to fit that in. So I think the card will be alright. Do I think it's going to be phenomenal? It could be, but summon a random 6 cost minion. You could get something like Karen, which would be awesome, or Sylvanas. But then you could get something you don't like as well. So I'm sure there are some 6 drops that aren't too great. Also, you could get like Reckless Rocketeer, go for lethal with that too, which is something cool about it. And the restore 6 health shouldn't be too relevant. It'll be nice, 6 health is awesome, but it's not a huge heal for 6 mana. Yeah, not a huge heal at all. We've gone over Bookworm and Ivory Knight so far. Next is Menagerie Warden. This is probably one of the most busted cards in the entire expansion. Yeah, I mean, you've got the Huffer there, an Ode to Call of the Wild, because, you know, 2 expansions in a row, they have to release a busted card for Druid. Or actually, Call of the Wild was Hunter card, my bad. But yeah, for Beast Druid, this is a lot of synergy. You choose a friendly beast, summon a copy of it. So, you know, you just go ahead, you stealth your Stranglehorn Tiger on turn 5. Turn 6, you play a Marka Yisaraj, give it +2/2, and then you draw a card as well. And then you innervate a Menagerie Warden, and then you copy a 7/7 Stealth Tiger. That's pretty good value. So you got 2 7/7 Stealth Tigers and a 5/5 Menagerie Warden. So that's pretty good. This card also works with Jungle Panther, so 4/3 stealth, 4/2 stealth, sorry, for 3 mana, and Druid of the Claw. So I think Beast Druid will have a relatively easy time activating this, and I think that this card will be completely busted and just make Beast Druid a solid deck. One that's really scary, and one that's awesome. Next is Moat Lurker. This card is, I don't know what to say about it. I don't know if it'll be good. I think that a lot of control players will try and tech us on their decks in the beginning of the expansion to see if it works or not. But I mean, it's a 6 mana 3/3, and it's not something you can just play on turn 6, right? You're gonna, like, really the combo with this card is you play your Sylvanas or your Karen on 6, and then you swing with it on your turn and you destroy it. You get the Death Rattle to go off, which is great, and then when Moat Lurker is dead, it resummons it. But this is a card that might just sit in your hand the whole game. It's not a bigger drop that you can just throw down on curve and it'll be good instantly. It's a card that's going to need something, right? Something to actually activate it. And yes, you could use it on like a Deathwing if your opponent's in top deck mode as well. It would be an answer for that, but Death Rattle resummon it. I don't know. We'll see how this card plays out, but it does seem playable, and I think it'll be fine as a one-of as tech. But I don't know if it's going to be a phenomenal groundbreaking card, sorry. But this is coming from someone who doesn't play too many control decks, so it's kind of tough to say. But this one I think could be good. Next is Fool's Bane. So I think this is pretty interesting. It's a 5 mana 3/4 warrior weapon, unlimited attacks, but you can attack heroes. And when I look at this card, I think this is what Doomhammer really should have been. You know, you can just swing twice a turn, but no attacking heroes. I think that would have been great for Shaman. But Fool's Bane comes out for Warrior. And will this card be great in Control Warrior? It's possible. It is very possible. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens again. You've got cards like Gorehowl and Double Fiery Winax right now. I'm not too sure if you can even throw this in a deck and it'll be competitive right now. But I mean, people will build decks around it as well, right? That's also something to consider. And I do think the effect is interesting, but we'll see what happens with this one. Sorry. And there is synergy with this card. There is a 3-mana 4/3 card that gives you hero immune during your turn. So the 8-mana combo, deal 12 damage with your weapon and take 0 damage. Seems pretty good. Something to consider when thinking about this card. Alright, next card. So, Ironforge Portal. This kind of seems like a meme card to me. It doesn't seem too good. At least the Moonglow Portal. It's 6 mana, restores 6 health, and summons a random 6 cost minion. Ironforge Portal is 5 mana, gain 4 armor, and summon a random 4 cost minion. And I just don't really see this card being fit in too many decks. Even more temple-oriented warrior decks, they're just going to play Corcoran themselves, right? There's no reason to run Ironforge Portal. This card could be okay in Arena, though. I guess it's not bad. It's something. But I don't think it's phenomenal. I think it's, pretty subpar in my opinion. Gone over Karazhan. Avian Watcher, this is an interesting one. 5 mana, 3/6 Battlecry. If you control Secret, gain +1/1 and taunt. So you play Secret turn 4, and then turn 5, you curve out into a 4/7 taunt, which is pretty good. The thing that really actually stands out to me about this card is the card art. I think it's pretty cool. And yeah, I like the owl. It reminds me of the anime with Kaneki-ken. If you guys remember that one with the big owl. No spoilers, but yeah. I don't even remember the name of that one. I completely forgot it now. But I do think this card will see play in more secret-oriented decks, so I think it's good. We've gone over Ethereal Peddler. Menagerie Magician. So give a random friendly beast, dragon, and murloc +2/2. Again, I don't think this card is terrible. I'm sure someone will build a deck that uses it, but it will be either really good or kind of useless. And I think these sort of decks will either curve out well with beast, dragons, and murlocs, and then curve out into a card like this and be really good, or they'll kind of just flop and lose a game. So I mean, it's not a great card, or I don't think it's a great card. But I'm not a magical deck building theory crafter, right? So personally, I can't come up with a deck where this will be phenomenal. So I'm just labeling it as okay with the potential to be pretty good. And watch me go back and watch this in like 3 months, and then say, "Wow, I'm an idiot. Menagerie Magician is an insane card," or something like that. Insert every other card name as well. So 5 mana, 3/4 Onyx Bishop. Battlecry, summon a friendly minion that died this game. So it's a 3 mana 3/4 with 2 mana Resurrect attached to it. So it's not terrible. But is it what Priest needed out of this expansion? Of course not. No, what Priest needed was 6 mana card called Dark Bomb. Deal damage equal to all minions attack. Yeah, that's exactly what they needed. They needed a Light Bomb reprinted in my opinion. Onyx Bishop is okay though. It'll be good on like Injured Cavaldier or Injured Blade Master. Both those cards, a 2/4 and a 4/7 respectively, are great. So I think this is okay. But again, is it phenomenal? No, but people like Zedalot will make this card work in Resurrect decks for sure. Prince Malchazar, we've gone over this card already. I think it's pretty cool. Silvermoon Portal. I don't think we've gone over this one. So 4 mana, give a minion +2/2 and summon a random 2-cost minion. It could be okay in a deck like Secret Paladin, but the issue that I see is the 4 mana slot being so oversaturated in Paladin already that I don't know if you can really fit this card into your deck. Yeah, that's all that I'd say about this one. I mean, the buff is nice, and a 2-cost minion isn't necessarily going to be that great. There's some bad ones that you can get, like Jeweled Scarab and stuff. But there's also good ones you can get, like Wrathguard. But yeah, it's like you got your True Silver Weapons Consecration already, Keeper of Uldaman. There's just a lot of good 4-drops. Yeah, Paladin decks like to run Argus as well most of the time, so it's already 8 cards if you're running doubles of all of them. So this is kind of tough. Maybe if this was like a 3-drop, it would be good. Or a 2-drop. Just give Paladins good 2 and 3 drops and they'll be busted again. That's all that I really have to say about this one. Arcanosmith. Or Arcanosmith, maybe. I'm not too sure how to pronounce it. This one's kind of interesting. So it's a 4 mana 3/2, and then summon a 0/5 minion with taunt. So I'm not really too sure what kind of a deck you'd build around this. It is interesting, but does it seem that good to me? Not really. I mean, it's a 4 mana 3/2, and then you have a 0/5 taunt. So your 3/2 is protected. The 0/5 could be a little bit annoying. Yeah, it'd be alright. I just can't really think what kind of a deck it'd be good in right now. I'm sure there will be strategies built around this card, though. Or, like, one strategy at least. Maybe, like, Bolster Warrior or something. Yeah. Yeah, Cheeseburger. Maybe a Bolster deck. If you go through that, I mean, you get a 2/7 taunt on turn 5. It's whatever. But this one's not phenomenal. Yeah, it's just whatever. Barnes, I think this card's busted. We've been over it, though. Priest of the Feast. 4 mana 3/6. Whenever you cast a spell, restore 3 health to your hero. Again, I don't think this is what Priest needed. Yeah, this is just, it's a 4 mana 3/6, which really isn't that great. You're going to throw it down on curve, and it's going to be like whatever, right? You can combo it later on in the game to heal up. I mean, for 5 mana, you get, with Flash Shield, that is, you get a 4 mana 3/6, and then you get 8 health restored to your hero. So, I mean, I don't know. Again, this card doesn't seem that great. There's anti-synergy with cards like Embrace of Shadows and Akanai Soul Priest. So the anti-synergy kind of makes me go meh, because those are 2 very common cards in Priest decks right now. So you won't be comfortable having both those cards in play at the same time. Yeah, Yogos, at least Priest of the Feast rhymes, right? Yeah, that's probably the only good thing about this card. It could be played, though. Tough to say. I'm not a Priest master. I don't really know what new Priest decks are going to need other than a new Light Bomb. But we're not going to see that, I guess. Not this expansion, at least. So, one more expansion of Priest being in the dumpster. Next up, Wicked Witch Doctor. I don't even know what this card is. 4 mana 3/4. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random basic totem. When I look at this card, I think garbage. I think that this is maybe what they wanted to do with Tuskar Totemic, instead of making it a 3 mana 6/6, because you summon Totem Golem every time if you're skilled. So maybe that's what they were trying to do with Tuskar Totemic, and they're like, we screwed up there, so let's fix it here. But I don't think Wicked Witch Doctor is that great. I actually think this card is almost unplayable. Maybe it'll be okay in Arena. Yeah, maybe you'll pick it sometimes there. But I don't think this will be a constructed card at all. And then again, watch me go back in like 3 months, watch this again, and say, wow, I thought this card was garbage. It's really good. Yeah, there'll be probably a couple scenarios like that, going back and watching this, and then me laughing at myself. So, Protect the King. Again, we've gone over this one. It's interesting. Cloaked Huntress. This is an awesome card, I think. I don't know how good it is, and you'll have to change current Hunter decks quite a bit to make this one viable. Yeah, so as far as Cloaked Huntress goes, it's a 3 mana 3/4, so already it's good, right? But then its ability, your secrets cost 0, it's pretty great. So maybe people will start running more secret-heavy Hunter decks. So maybe you'll run like 6 secrets, like, well, you could run one of each, I guess. And then run Cloaked Huntress, and then just get like a board with, on turn 3 with like 2 secrets for free, which is pretty good, 4 free mana. I mean, get a freezing trap and like an explosive out there. It's not bad. It's good tempo. So I like this card, and I think it'll be interesting. Next is Deadly Fork. So a 3 mana 3/2 Death Rattle, add a 3/2 weapon to your hand. Yeah, so in the 3-drop slot right now, what Rogue does is they play, well, some decks run Questing Adventure as well, but they run Van Cleef, they run Earthen, and they run SI. I can see Earthen going away. Maybe not, actually. They didn't get any new healing, so they probably have to keep Earthen in their decks. They probably have to keep SI. Yeah, I don't see them getting rid of SI. SI is just too good. And I don't see them getting rid of Van Cleef anytime soon either. Do I think Deadly Fork will be viable? Yeah, I think it'll be played. Will it be phenomenal? Probably not. I mean, it's a 3/2 weapon's not bad for 3 mana. It's also a 3 mana 3/2 weapon, sorry. So it's the equivalent of hero powering than using Deadly Poison. But, it's a 6 mana. It's 6 mana and packed into one card. Yeah, so a 3/2 body and then a 3/2 weapon. And again, the 3/2 weapon is 3 mana, so that's a little bit unfortunate. So yeah, constructed, this card might be played. Yeah, I can see it being played. I don't think it'll be game breaking, but again, I'm not a rogue main, so it's tough to say. Arena, this card will be busted, I'm sure. Yeah, no activators, which is great, and then just a solid 3/2 weapon to control the board with. Hey, you control the board. Okay, more else we've been over him. Nightbane Templar. So, best case scenario, this is a 3 mana 4/5. And while that sounds really good, I actually don't think this card's that insane. Yeah, I mean, the 1/1 whelps are easy to ignore. Really, if this was like a 3 mana 2/3 and then Battlecry if you're holding a dragon gain plus 2/2, then yeah, I'd say this card's busted. But there's just so many whirlwind effects in the meta right now. Well, I'm thinking about Warrior mainly with Ravaging Ghoul. Or even with other decks, it's just easy to ignore the whelps and trade into the 2/3. So I don't think this card is great. Will it see play though? Yeah, it will, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm almost sure that this card will see play. But I don't think it'll be phenomenal or game breaking. Not, and by game breaking and phenomenal, I mean it won't be like shielded mini bot level good. Pantry Spider. So it's a 3 mana, 2/6 of stats, which really isn't good. The 1/3 stat distribution sucks. It's a 3 mana card that'll trade with a 3/2. With a 2 mana 3/2. Or even like a Flame Imp on turn 1. Which is pretty bad. I definitely don't like that at all. Yeah, there's synergy with cards like Houndmaster and maybe Beastrid, Mark of Yusaraj. But I just don't think this card is good. I think it's kind of a waste of printing a card, but I mean, again, I could be an idiot. And one thing about this card is it does set up Argus really well. Yeah, it gives you 2 bodies on turn 3. So it could be played. And yeah, I mean, there's been token decks that really do shine with cards like, even Dragon Egg, like the Secret Paladin deck I'm playing right now. Obscure cards like this can't shine, so don't take my word super seriously. Next up is a personal favorite of mine, Silverware Busted Golem. I say busted because I think this card is OP. If you discard this minion, summon it. So just again, another buff to Zoo, an already insane deck. They're just going to make it so when you Soulfire or when you Doomguard, your opponent gets a 3/3 as well. And by your opponent, I mean the Zoo you're playing against. So yeah, makes Doomguard on turn 5, get a 5/7 with charge and a 3/3. Best case scenario, 2 3/3s. But yeah, I think this card is just stupid. I really do think it's dumb. But I mean, it's there. I know I'm going to be playing some Discard Warlock, so I'll enjoy that a lot. And I mean, yeah, there's not much to say other than this. Even in worst case scenario, a 3 mana 3/3 is not that bad, right? So it's not bad. And by not bad, I mean it's really good. And at its worst case scenario, it's not bad. Next up, Violet Illusionist. So this is a card that I was talking about that synergizes with the warrior weapon right up here. The Fool's Bane. So Violet Illusionist, during your turn, your hero is immune. I'm not too sure if you can mill your opponent with this if you're playing like a mill rogue. But yeah, I'm not really too sure what the interaction is at all yet, and I don't know if Blizzard's released information on that. So I apologize for not having too much information on that. But I do see synergy with that, even with cards like Gorehowl dropping this down on turn 10, with Gorehowl being able to swing into a big minion with 7 health and clearing that. So I think that this card is good. How playable will it be? I'm not too sure. But we will see. People will find some interesting decks with it, I'm sure. Next up is Zubot. I do believe that I did go over this one in one of the first 2 videos, so we're going to skip over it. Cat Trick. So 2 mana Hunter Secret. After your opponent casts a spell, summon a 4/2 Panther with Stealth. I think this is kind of comparable to Bear Trap, where your opponent will probably know what they're trying to play around if they've tested for a few secrets, and they can play around it if they want. But I do think a 4/2 Panther with Stealth is better than a 3/3 Bear with Taunt in most cases. When you're playing Hunter, you usually like the extra damage, and I think this card will be great, in unison with Cloaked Huntress. You play Cloaked Huntress with Bear Trap and Cat Trick. It's like a free 3/3 with Taunt and a free 4/2 with Stealth. As soon as your opponent activates the traps, as I should say. Next is Male Soren Portal. So this card's actually kind of nice. It's not phenomenal, but Shamans really do lack a way to deal 1 damage. It answers something like Wisps of the Old God really well. It does good against decks like Zoo and Token Druid, really, is what I'm trying to say. And you get to summon random 1-cost minion as well. Also, it helps you when trading up when you're playing like a mid-range Shaman deck. But the question is, can this card really be afforded to be played? Do you really have room in your mid-range shaman deck to run this? Maybe Concede Shamans will have room for it, but I don't know if I can see mid-range Shamans fitting it in. But we'll see how the decks evolve over time. So I think this one's it has potential. Next up is Purified. This card is a living meme. There's not much more to say about it. Yeah, I just think this card's garbage, and it's hilarious that they actually chose to print this over something like Dark Bomb, like I talked about earlier. Like just a reprint of Light Bomb. But yeah, they want to print Purify. There's memes everywhere if you guys watch streams. I was watching Raynad a little bit earlier today, and he probably got 20 donations of like $3 just with people having their name as Purify and putting in like copy pasta. So I mean, it's good for Raynad, makes him a little bit of money. Gone over the Grandmother. This card's great. Medivh's Valet. Valette. I don't know how to pronounce that. Just Medivh, so we'll go with Medivh's. So 2 mana 2/3, which isn't bad alone, but it's not suited for the current meta. But then the battle cry is the interesting part. Battle cry, if you control secret, deal 3 damage. So again, on curve it's a 2/3, which isn't great. Play it on turn 4, you get a 2 mana 3/2. You play 2 on turn 4. It's like a 2/3 with a conditional fire elemental battle cry, which is great. So I do think this card is good, and we'll see play, especially in wild mode. I'm sure this card will be busted in Temple Mage in wild mode. Yeah. Turn 1, you coin out Mad Scientist, and then turn 2, you sack your Mad Scientist and then play this. It's really good. Might just win you games right away. But I do see this card being great and playable, especially in a deck like Reno Mage. I definitely do think you can fit cards that are one-ofs in it like this, and get good value from the ability. Next is another Spite Historian. I believe this is a card that's trying to make Dragon Priest better. So Battlecry, a 2 mana 1/3, Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, discover a dragon. So yeah, I think this card is just trying to push Dragon Priest to try and be more viable. Do I think it'll work? Maybe. I think that the 1/3 body is a little bit underwhelming. Discovering something like a Twilight Guardian will be great though. So I do think it'll be good, and I'm sure you'll see people like Kibler trying to make it work. So I'll be interested to see if this one will be good or if it'll be a flop or just be mediocre. And again, only time will tell. Next up is Pompous Lesbian. Again, I don't really know why they're printing a card like this. It's super boring. It's just a 2 mana 3/2 with taunt. So it's like a Blood Fen Raptor. A little bit of power creep though with the taunt. Not really power creep, but marginally better. And yeah, I mean, it's an arena card, I guess. You're not going to be running this in constructed, I don't think. Even like Warrior in a bolster deck wouldn't want to run this because they do have Sparring Partner, which is a 2 mana 3/2 taunt and then give taunt to another friendly minion. Next up is Spirit Claws. So I think this one will be okay in Concede Shaman. I'm not too sure if they'd even want to run this, but in some sort of a heavy control Shaman list, I don't think an aggro or mid-range you'd want to run this card, simply because it's too hard to activate. The 1 damage isn't too important early on, and in your 1-drop slot, I think cards like Argent Squire and Tunnel Trug right now are much better. Because with Rockbiter, you can trade up into anything with 4 health, so like Frothings and Totem Golems. But I do think that this is alright. And I mean, if you're skilled, you could run it as a 1 mana 3/3 weapon if you just roll Spell Power Totem every time. So I mean, maybe it'll be good if you're really good with RNG. Just to roll high every time, you're good. Next is Arcane Anomaly. 1 mana 2/1. Whenever you cast a spell, give this minion +1 health. So this card doesn't seem too great to me. It has a snowball effect, kind of like Undertaker, but nothing is game changing. It's not bad, but it'll probably be like a 2/1 or a 2/2 in most cases. Something to play on turn 1 is nice. It could be good again in Reno Mage, something like that. But this might replace like Babbling Book in a Tempo Mage deck possibly, because of the 1 extra attack and then the snowbally nature of it. It's just another 1-drop to run around with Mana Worm. And that's just what comes to my mind initially. Again, this will probably be good in like a Yogg deck with a lot of spells. But will this one be phenomenal? Probably not. Next, we've gone over Babbling Book. We've gone over Enchanted Raven. We've gone over Malchazar's Imp. Next up is Runic Egg. So 1 mana 0/2 with Death Rattle, draw a card. So I think this will be a pretty good card in any sort of a deck that can activate it. So possibly even current iterations of Secret Paladin. similar to the way that the dragon egg works. 0-2, then you buff it up, get the effect off. I think the death rattle draw card is very nice. Maybe this will be a good card in like a rogue deck, so you can just cycle a little bit more. Activate it with something like Cold Blood, trade up. Nizoth rogue deck, that is. But yeah, so I think this one has potential, but again, you do have to work around with it a little bit. I don't think it's bad at all. And yeah, I mean, cycle, 1 mana, a card with the effect draw card is really nice. It is really, really nice. So yeah, I think this one's good. Or it could be really good. It's playable, at least, at the very least. But we'll see what people do with it. It's yeah, and again, like what's the card called? It's a 3 mana, 3/4 copy your own Death Rattle. One of your friendly minions' Death Rattles. With that card, it'll be really good, because then you can just cycle some more. Yeah, sorry I forgot the card name. And lastly, Swash Burglar. So Swash Burglar, 1 mana, 1/1 battle cry. Add a random class card to your hand from your opponent's class. So, I mean, it's not bad. It's something to do on turn 1, which your rogue really do lack. Some of them are running a single Argent Square right now, as just something to do on turn 1. But I think this card's alright. It's nice as a combo activator as well, as something to consider. But it is also something that's a dead draw when you're cycling with Karazhan, which is something important to consider as well. But it's similar to Babbling Book as well. Yeah, they both have very high upswing and very low downswing, so you could get something like an eye for an eye from Paladin, or you could get Tyrion, right? And, you know, there's a lot of variants with a card like this. But it's a combo activator. You can use it on turn 4 with SI7 agent, activate it. So it's not terrible. And, I mean, getting an extra class card is nice, right? It's just, it replaces itself. You develop a minion, and then you get something else in return, which has a high upside, right? But then again, a low downside. Could be something unplayable. But in rogue decks, even like an eye for an eye would be alright, because again, it does activate combos with SI7 agent and cards like Eviscerate. So I don't think this one's bad, and I think it will be played. And the Pirate Tag's nice if you are playing Pirate Rogue. Could be good, especially in wild mode. Again, so another good card for wild mode rogues. Because yeah, even Pirate Rogue right now, all they have is the 2 mana 1/1, 1 mana 2/1, sorry, with charge if you have a weapon. So Swash Burglar is something fine to play on. Saucy Deckhand is the name of that one, but it's something fine to just play on turn 1. So guys, this brings the end to my Karazhan review. So sorry the last one wasn't too split up. But yeah, I got 3 parts of the videos. I'll link number 1 and 2 in the in the description of the video. So feel free to check those out if you're wondering about the cards that I skipped over in this video. Feel free to comment if you have any more questions or comments about any sort of the cards or what I think about them. And yeah, feel free to like the video, comment, subscribe, hit me up on Twitter and Twitch. Have a good one, guys.